Today, we're doing something a little different. We've actually gotten our hands on a flight attendant training manual, and we're going to pull back the curtain on something they call persona management. Trust me, the principles in here are fascinating, and they really apply to anyone who wants to build a more powerful professional image.
So, when you think of cabin crew, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Maybe rolling those little carts down the aisle? Well, the manual is pretty blunt about that. It says if you think it's all about rolling meals and drinks, you are completely wrong. There's a whole world of preparation that happens long before they ever step foot on the plane.
And this is exactly why it all matters so much. This one line from the manual just cuts right to the chase. In an industry where safety and precision are absolutely everything, the way the crew looks is seen as a direct reflection of the airline's standards. So yeah, the stakes are incredibly high. Our guide for all of this is the GMS Aviation Training Institute. They're the ones who developed this really comprehensive system called persona management, and it is a fascinatingly detailed way of building a professional identity, literally from the ground up.
And this is their core philosophy, right there on the cover. It's not about stamping out an army of identical flight attendants. It's about giving each person the tools to build their own unique, but still professional persona. This idea is the thread that's going to tie everything else we talk about together.
So where does a process like this even begin? I thought for sure it would be makeup or uniforms, but nope. The manual insists that it all starts from the inside, with a concept they call metaphysical grooming.
So, what in the world is metaphysical grooming? Well, the core idea is pretty powerful. Your outward persona is just a reflection of your inner state. For GMS, you can't fake being calm, confident, and easygoing in a super high-stress job unless you've actually cultivated those qualities inside first.
Okay, so how do they actually do it?
Well, through these practices. And this isn't just about feeling good for the sake of it. This is professional training. For someone in aviation, things like meditation and mindfulness are actual tools. They enhance emotional intelligence and resilience, which is what allows them to handle really challenging situations with total composure. All right, so once that inner foundation is solid, then the manual moves to the external. And I love this. It treats the body like a canvas that your professional persona is going to be built on. And of course, that canvas has to be perfectly prepared. Now, this might seem super basic, but the manual is incredibly specific. These are the absolute non-negotiables. And notice the detail: showering at least every other day, brushing for a full 2 minutes. There is zero room for error. And the perfume thing makes total sense, right? You don't want to overwhelm a small, confined cabin space. From general hygiene, we get even more granular. We're talking to prescribed 5-step skincare routine. And this isn't presented as some luxury. It's a professional discipline. Each step has a clear job, all the way to sunscreen, which is absolutely essential for someone who spends so much time at high altitudes, closer to those UV rays. And the manual doesn't just throw out a one-size-fits-all routine. No way. It actually emphasizes how important it is to understand your own skin type so you can tailor the products and care you use. It's all about personalization, but within a very structured system. Now, let's talk about hair. Again, the standards are extremely precise. For men, sideburns can't go past the middle of the ear, and hair can't touch the collar. For women, accessories have to be simple and black, and their hair needs to be tied back so they're not constantly touching it. The rules are different, sure, but the principle is exactly the same. Keep it neat, conservative, and professional. Okay, makeup. The manual frames this in a really interesting way. It's not about covering up or being glamorous. It's presented as just another tool in the professional toolkit. The goal is to create a polished, consistent look that stays fresh, even through a really long flight. And this just shows the incredible level of detail. The whole process starts with building a solid base. You've got primer to make it last, foundation that's meticulously matched to the jawline, not the wrist, for a perfect blend, and then concealer for any targeted spots. It's treated like a science. And then you add dimension. The manual gives exact application techniques. Bronzer gets applied in a 3 shape. Blush goes only on the apples of the cheeks to look like a natural flush. Highlighter is used strategically on just a few points to catch the light. It is all about subtle enhancement, not a dramatic effect. So, the inner work is done, the canvas is prepped and polished, which brings us to the final layer of this professional persona, the wardrobe. The manual breaks down professional dress into these distinct categories. This is to help trainees understand the nuances of different work environments, whether they're up in the air, in a corporate office, or maybe representing the airline at a public event.
And the key takeaway here, no matter which category we're talking about, is that your clothing is a form of communication. It signals things like competence, authority, and attention to detail before you ever say a single word. And the level of detail is just remarkable. The manual doesn't just talk about style, it's about substance. It goes into dozens of different fabrics, explaining their properties. The whole point is to make informed choices, to pick materials that look professional but are also practical and comfortable enough for a really demanding job. Which brings us full circle, right back to where we started. After all these incredibly detailed rules and systems, how does it all come together to form an identity? Well, the manual brings it all back to this powerful motto. It's a fantastic reminder that all these guidelines, from metaphysical grooming, hygiene, makeup, wardrobe, they're not there to erase your individuality. So here's the bottom line. Persona management is a holistic practice. It's about aligning your internal state, that calm and confidence, with a polished, professional external presentation. The rules are just the framework. The individual is still the artist. Ultimately, what this aviation manual teaches is a lesson for everyone. Every single day, in every interaction, your professional persona is sending a message, whether you've designed it on purpose or not. So the only question left is, what do you want yours to say?